Thanks, Nighthawk. I'm Dave,
And I'm Mackie.
and this is Shiny Side Out, broadcasting from Australia for Revolution Radio on Revolution.radio. That is the home of fresh ideas. Buy some merchandise or donate if you like anything that we say. Join us in the chat room and talk to us while we're on air. Mackie, this is show number 652.
250 and 600.
That's so true. Tune in to us online on your smart device, directly via an app, or directly at home. Well, actually, or listen at home on the Grace Tabletop Digital Radio. Directly. I'm giving you a direction to do it. Do it. Get yourself one of those Grace Tabletop Digital Radios and tell them where you heard it. That'd be great. If you missed Laris's show, it's okay. It doesn't matter. You can access the archives for free to download your favourite host shows. Mackie, I'm broadcasting out of Dark and Junk Country. Where are you today?
The Rock Country.
Yeah, that's cool. And we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land. I've shortened the intro, if you might have noticed. No? You didn't notice?
Very nice. Wow, I noticed everything. Very nice.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, what he said. Yeah. Oh, boy. Gonna ask you first, Mackie, because you do it when you do the intro to me. How was your week?
Yeah, okay. Okay. I mean, I really shouldn't complain about anything. I've been looking at the news. I've been walking, in our cities and looking around and seeing how hard people have it. How hard some people are doing it, how tough they're doing it. It's I'm okay. It's just, I get angry, Dave. I get really, really angry when you realize the enormity of the crime that is being committed, right? And it's like standing in the forest, and you're asking someone, well, where's the forest?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're in it. No, these are just trees. I want to see the forest, right? It's like that, and it's a realization that it's almost impossible to make a difference, to stop this enormous crime from being committed. There was a fantastic meme that came across. I actually reshared it on Facebook of all places, where there were two graphs. One graph was, back in the 1780s or 1770s, just prior to the French Revolution in 1789, and the other one was now. And what it was a graph of the wealth distribution that existed then and now, and the wealth distribution is worse now than it was just prior to the French Revolution. And the caption said, "I love it when I love when a graph drops a hint," or something like that. and this is where we are, right? Where we're destroying the middle class. We've always beaten down the working poor. Always have done that. That's not new, right? Mm-hmm. Here we go. That's it. Yeah, wealth distribution in France, 1760, 1790, and then in the wealth distribution in the U.S. in 2016. And the wealth distribution in the U.S. 2000 is much worse than the wealth distribution it was back in France. Mm-hmm. Oh God, that's good. But it really it's upsetting because it is such an enormous crime. It's almost unthinkable, the scale of the crime that's being committed, and you can't see it because it is so big. It's like you hear about a car crash and 5 people die, and you think that's terrible, right? It's a tragedy, and you can imagine the family members, of the deceased, mourning them, and you can imagine the kind of impact it has on people, right?
Yeah.
But when 1 million people die, or 10 million, or even 100 million, that's a bit more abstract. I mean, we talk about these figures in relation to wars all the time. World War II, you know, World War One, 20 million, 40 million people, whatever. Sure, you know, it's okay. And in Rwanda, 500,000 people were killed in the space of, you know, 6 weeks. And yeah, but does it mean anything? 6 million people starve to death every year. Yeah, 6 million. That's Sydney. Every year, a city the size of Sydney, Australia, starves to death every year. And there's no outrage. There's nothing, right? But you know, if someone white crosses the street and gets killed by a car, they're going to build an overpass, right? And yet here we are, completely stunned, and I think stunned in many ways, by the numbers that present themselves to us. There is no comprehension of the enormity of the crime. Because we are, like, I mean, this is, as long as you're okay, Dave, right? Yeah, you know, you just live your life and you do what you can, and you've got other things to worry about than the fate of the world, or God forbid, other people, because you got your own stuff to do. Right?
Oh boy.
Except at some point, you are going to be the other people, and it is inevitable, unless you belong to the parasitic class. It is inevitable that all of us will become the affected people at some point. If it's not you, it'll be your children or their children, because this is a long plan. Make no mistake. And we are impotent. We're almost helpless in the face of it, right? So it seems. In fact, most of us can't even see it. If you and I talk about it to regular folk in the street, they look at us like we're insane. You know, when I talked about to friends of mine, I talked about fiat currency and the fractional reserve system and so forth, right? And they look at me like I'm crazy. I said, no, this is actually how it works, guys. This is the system. No, that's the copyright.
No, it doesn't.
No, the regulations and whatnot. And then I explained to them what happened in 2008, you know, because they brought up regulations and rating agencies and whatnot, right? And I explained to them what happened there. And go, no, that can't be true. So no, that's exactly what happened. Oh no, there would have been, you know, some kind of outrage or people going to jail or something or whatever. I said, no.
One person.
Yeah, one person who was, but you know, he did not precipitate or in any way make worse the collapse of the world economy.
Mickey,
he was the Hitler of the world economy.
Yeah, so that's right. He spat a lot when he talked, and he got very angry. So I said the same thing about Greece, the IMF, and credit default swaps.
Yeah.
Because no one cares.
Oh.
No, and I said it was so corrupt that the board of the IMF, who were ultimately making the decision to see whether Greece was bankrupt or not, or unable to pay its bills, weren't honouring the credit default swaps, which is an insurance to a specific level of payback, repayment amount in percent. And they were complicit to not declare Greece bankrupt, and then Greece, as a result, had to steal half of its bonds money to try and pay its loans, and then it kind of all disappeared. Who needs to know about that problem anymore? People didn't understand. People still don't understand how bad a corrupt system that was for that to take place.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's another issue here, Mickey, at the same time, and I want to bring this up right now. So in Sydney, there was a real estate agent that was found guilty of creating a Ponzi scheme and have been ordered to personally pay back $7.4 million after encouraging a Sydney family's involvement in a dodgy property investment opportunity.
Wow.
Now, I use the word Ponzi scheme there very lightly because the largest of all the Ponzi schemes on the planet is the American 401k retirement fund.
Yeah.
I heard this the other day. I don't have any of the information to back it up, but I'm just quoting what the other person, who is a senator in American politics, said, and it's all over the internet, so you can Google it yourself. And they said there's not enough money in the pool to pay anybody at all. Only the payments that are going in are currently being pushed out to the people who need the payments now. It's like, what? There should have been enough money in there. I remember there was a quote back from when was it? I don't know, the 90s or something, that said there's enough money in there to never have to ever contribute to it again. That it should be a significant amount of money to be able to pay everybody, and just off the interest of the astonishing amount of money that was in there. But it was vacuumed out. I don't know when. It could, if I was imaginative, in my fictitious scenario, during the 2008 bailout. But I don't know.
Well, the money had to come from somewhere, brother.
Wow, you know.
Right?
So you could print it, surely. I'm sure you could just print it. Or just types the numbers into a computer like in 5 years' time, right? Who cares?
That's right.
But I heard them call it a Ponzi scheme. Because none of the people who are receiving investments are receiving investments from the pool of money, only from the new people's money going in. And that's a Ponzi scheme. Encouraging more and more people to join, isn't it?
Yeah, but the problem here is this, right? At some point, there'd be nobody left to put any money in.
Aha! Yes.
At which point, the entire thing collapses. And if that were to happen, especially with the 401k, you might as well draw the curtains for the states at that point.
That's gone. Yeah, you just put a big red X through it. Don't need that anymore. You could sell it. You could sell America to someone else. They'd buy it.
Daddy, what is the United States of America? Oh, it was a wonderful place once, son, and then the parasites got it. Oh, what happened to the parasites? Oh, we threw them all in the ocean. Hooray!
Oh, I'd like to be able to. You know, Mackie and I have so many of these off-air fictional scenarios that are really funny. Because we've both grown up with The Simpsons. And they do a little, what's it called? Cutaway, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
They do a little funny cutaway, or Robot Chicken, if you will. I want to make stuff like that. I really do.
It'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Because we could say all the same things, just be in comedy.
I know.
See where I'm going? Anyway,
I see.
So, again, this week, they said that the inflation wasn't. It was still going, still bad, and we're not going to touch interest rates for 2 years now or something. Oh, gee, that's a crystal ball and a half, isn't it?
Look,
Can you
I'm
buy
sorry,
those on Amazon, Mackie? Because I want to get myself one.
I'm sure we can try something. We should sell them, not buy them. It really upsets me, and I'll tell you why it upsets me, right? And I know I've said it many times before. Interest rates are not the right instrument to control inflation in our current economic world. It makes no sense. Okay, it doesn't make sense on a number of levels. The only thing that will help us right now, because what actually happens, we're making it worse. The macroeconomic effects of interest rate rises, especially in Australia, but not only in Australia, and we see this everywhere in the world now, everywhere, it has the opposite effect. People are spending more money because they have to, not because they're buying more stuff. They're spending more money on the same stuff.
Or even less money. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're spending less money now because they have less, and they're not even able to buy enough to be able to live.
Correct. So,
Mhm.
and if they should get somehow more money from somewhere, savings, whatever, it is just buying the same stuff they did buy before, and
That's
possibly less, as they've pointed out.
It's not a luxury
The problem,
thing. Mhm.
no, the problem with inflation is okay. It's volume of money in the economy compared to or in relation to goods and services available for purchase.
Mhm.
That's the problem with inflation. If you've got more money than goods and services, you have inflation, which means things start costing more because more people are in a position to buy, and then people raise prices, etc., etc.
That's 101.
The opposite,
Yeah.
the opposite is a scarcity economy where you have less goods and services,
Mhm.
right, available. But if you had more, so that's scarcity, that's inflation. But if you had more goods and services available than money, then goods and services would be cheaper because there's more goods and services, right, available for people to buy. Always in relation to the purchasing power. But what we're seeing right now is profiteering. So we got profiteering, we got super profits for grocery chains, for crying out loud, for grocery chains,
Mhm.
but for other corporations too, for banks, for this and that and the other, resources companies and so forth. And they're making super profits. You think those people aren't spending their money? Of course they're spending their money. They're inflating the economy. Governments are spending money. They're inflating the economy, not the people that are actually punished by the interest rates.
Mhm.
Interest rates are the wrong instrument because they focus on the wrong group of people. Okay, those people that you're trying that are actually feeling the effect of the interest rates are not the ones that you want to be effective because they haven't got any money to put in the bank. They are not going to. They're not going to have bucket loads of more money in the economy. They don't, because they don't have that money. What you need is government intervention. And a lot of economists have said this now, a lot of analysts, and we've been saying it for years, right? But now they're coming on board and saying, yeah, well, this is the reserve banks of the world have interest rates to play with, and that's it. It's the wrong tool. It's like trying to fix a car with a
gummy bear.
egg white beater. With an egg white beater. Here's your car, here's your egg white beater. Go fix it. Or no, here's a straw. Here's a straw. Go and fix the transmission. It's insanity. Think about it this way for a second. The only people that are being punished are the people that are struggling anyway. Yeah, which is a lot of people. And those are the people that are the driver of the economy as well. They're the ones that are purchasing all kinds of stuff, right? People that already have money in the bank, that have paid their mortgages, they don't have any debt, right? They don't care. Whatever. And if it's a corporation that is hit by the interest rates, all they're going to do is pass it on to the customer.
That's right.
I can't pass it on to a customer. I got mortgage, right? But there's no customer out in the world I can pass this on to. It's like, if the interest rates rise, it's going to hit me. Right?
Yeah.
Corporations don't care. And governments are not stepping up. For some reason, look, I think I know why, but let's just say there was no conspiracy going on, right, for argument's sake. It is beyond me why governments haven't stepped in and fixed prices, for one. Fixed prices for fuel. That's the number one thing, fuel. Fixed prices for fuel. Fixed prices for groceries. Yeah. I guess what you would have to do is a rental freeze. Right? You have to put a freeze on people paying rent, whatever they're paying, right? But then you also say, okay, no more interest rate rises.
That's right.
That doesn't work. In fact, we should lower the interest rates at this point. Okay? And all of a sudden you go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because what we're doing, we are actively destroying our economy.
Yeah.
And the problem that I have, the biggest problem that I have with this, which I keep, I don't know, it's almost like a dead cat or a dead horse or anything you can flog. The people that make these decisions are never affected by these decisions. Not even a little bit. They're completely beyond, like the governor of the Reserve Bank and all these bankers, all these politicians. They're not under mortgage stress. They're not wondering if they're going to have enough money to feed their family and pay the rent and pay electricity and pay water. Yeah, they're not worried about that because they're okay. They're going to be just fine. Thank you very much. It makes me so angry. I want to vomit. Okay, I am angry. I am really really angry, and everybody should be angry about this. Why? Because it's happening now. It's happening, everybody.
If you look up from your phone, you'll discover it's happening.
Yeah, it's a dreadful situation we're in, because there's seemingly no way out of it. I mean, I don't want a revolution. I mean, the French Revolution happened because of this, not interest rates, but people were poor. People didn't have anything to eat. I mean, the wealth. Yeah, the wealth was concentrated at the top. Okay, which is what we're seeing now.
And the laws, they weren't. They didn't. It's an oligarchy, right? So
yeah,
they're unaffected by the entire situation that's going on, and they demand rules and changes, and then they ignore the people who are of less income or less benefit than they are.
Yeah,
they ignore them because they didn't make rules for themselves. All the interest rate rises, Mickey. Who makes all the money on the interest rate rises?
Yeah,
the banks.
Well, the banks make the decisions. In most countries, the reserve banks or central banks are privately owned. They're not part of the federal government or whatever government. It's not. And they make those. And when was the last time people voted to get a pay cut for themselves? Let me think. Oh yeah, that's right. Never, Dave. It never happened.
Never. Yes, never. Yeah.
Right. Now I remember. No, what? It never happens. Why would you? It's insanity. Of course you wouldn't. Human nature.
Look, you can wind their roll up and then offer the roll again with a slightly different title for less money. That's easy.
You do that.
And you can get them to apply for their jobs again.
Yes. And that's what happens too. Right? So
I know what happens to state government rights.
I'm really upset. I find it truly upsetting that this is where we are. We have so much on the planet. I mean, we have so much. And
we have great potential to do well for everybody. That's right.
Everybody. We've given control of all of that over to a handful of greedy, selfish parasites. Mostly men. Not only, but mostly men.
Doesn't matter.
Greedy, selfish parasites that have no interest at all in doing anything for anyone but themselves. That's where we are. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. Capitalism is dead. Communism was a stillbirth, like I've said before.
Yeah.
We have to come up with a system that works. We have to come up with a system that works. Our system is dead. The system we are living under, which is one underlying rule set, which is infinite growth. Infinite growth. That's where we're operating, right? In the Western capitalist nations. You have to keep growing. And people say, "Oh, our economy is only growing by 0.25%. That's terrible." Well, really, why? Why? Well, because we're not making profits anymore. Well, wouldn't it be just enough to just live? Like I have a certain standard of living, and that's your standard of living. That's nice, and everybody's happy, and we all eat and have holidays and have electronics and be entertained, and then whatever. I mean, follow your dreams, right? Mm-hmm. You don't need a super yacht. You don't need a 28-bedroom house if it's only two of you, right? None of these things are necessary, but we've enabled that kind of megalomania where people have scores of homes and dozens of cars and jets. And I mean, it was the funniest thing was when it was some kind of climate thing and they all took a private jet there. I think it was in Vegas or something. I mean, what? It's hilarious. And all of it is a lie. It's all a lie. Carbon trading, it's a lie. It's a cottage industry. Dave has actually pointed it out to all of you. The single biggest contributor to greenhouse gases, carbon, dioxide, etc., or monoxide rather, are forest fires. Forest fires. The single biggest greenhouse gas contributor ever. And it's other things sure, but forest fires.
Yeah. So
and they're getting worse.
Okay, so distinguishing the difference. I'm not watering down your argument because that's fantastic. In Australia, the natural production, the production of CO2 is from forest fires. The second most is the human component.
Yeah, but globally, it's not just Australia.
You're right. Globally, And we're seeing them
amazing.
more now in the US and Canada and in Alaska. These fires, crazy, right? But if you separate the net new from the recyclable carbon, if that's all we did was separate those two, we'd have a better understanding of the human contribution, and it is much smaller. So look, it does my head in, and you have to imagine before we had electricity, we weren't doing all of the things that we were doing today, and the amount of carbon in the atmosphere was recyclable carbon until we started with oil. Yeah. And look, it's disappointing. Meki, I'm showing a graph from the Worldometer. This is the graph of the population, right? I'm just going to ignore the first. Who cares? Up to 2000, right? Anything up to 2000, I'm ignoring. And you can actually see the trend downwards of the population. It's trending down. So, to your point, that infinite growth is what people stare at going, yeah, there's always potential for more. Well, not if the population's now beginning to decline. Where's your infinite growth now? Go on, I'll wait for you. Tell me, because I'm still interested in it. Here's the growth rate. We're below 1 now.
Yeah.
Anything below 2 is a negative. It takes 2 people to make a single person. If 2 people make 2 people, then you've got a steady state. Anything above that is growth. Anything below it is contraction. And that's what we're seeing now. We're at 0.87% yearly growth. That's once again, Meki, it's negative growth.
I hate
How is that even a phrase? I'm sorry, trigger words.
It is. Negative growth is a nonsense phrase. It means nothing. Just say what it is. You're shrinking. You're decreasing. You're going. Your number is going south. But don't call it negative growth. It is. We have to. The next generation that we're bringing up after all this is over, Dave. We have to reteach them language. To say to find meaning for words that has been lost. It's insanity. Entire phrases and there's articles out there. I read them and they just don't make any sense. It's a nonsense. I mean, I guess those articles weren't really meant for anyone to ever be read, which is hilarious, right? And I hate to say this, but I read Reagan's dissertation. Well, not all of it.
Oh boy.
But a lot of it, and it makes no sense at all. It's just a whole bunch of really interesting words strung together in a nonsensical fashion. There's no informational value in a thesis. If that's what it takes to write a PhD, dude, you and I should both be full-fledged tenured professors at all universities in the world.
All of them simultaneously.
All of them.
Yeah.
It is incredible. And we are encouraging this nonsense word salad. We teach our politicians are the best. I mean, they never answer a question, right? You listen to them all. You didn't actually say anything, right? You made a lot of hot air with your words, but you didn't say anything. And it takes a special kind of parasitic cyst to do that. And I have no love for any of these people, as you might infer by my speech. I hate them. I hate them all very deeply. There's something wrong with someone who wants to have power over someone else on a very fundamental level.
Yeah, and I'm going to use the segue of that word salad. There are a lot of places you can find word salad. Usually high-ranking people within the business will say nothing. They can say nothing for quite a while without any substance. There's nothing in it. There is just nothing. And that's. I wonder if that's how you get there. That's what I wonder. If you just talk business speak without saying anything, and everyone, nods and goes, yeah, that was great. Thinking about this, I can remember what they said because that was so good. They said nothing. You can be Kamala Harris and say nothing. That's also really, really interesting. Politicians, yeah, I'm with you. But what's worse is when you see someone that should be up there at the top, who's smart, I'm going to say clever, well, not maybe necessarily well educated, able to put together a tremendous idea, convey it to the audience, deliver it with sincerity and a message, and have the person take home something very meaningful. But in comparison to word salad, they said something. That's, I think, the most important thing. And I'm going to say this for my last time, waiting for the presidential debate to kick off. But you watch 5 minutes of Kamala Harris and 5 minutes of Tulsi Gabbard. You watch 5 minutes of each of them and then pause for a minute and realize who should be the leader between the two of them. Pause, take a deep breath, think about how they're constructing sentences and conveying a beautiful message, or a serious message, or something that needs to be said right now, rather than word salad. And I think it's really important, Mickey, that I'm going to put it out there to everyone. You should really do it. You should do it for yourself, and I don't care who you are. Watch two different people talk. We all know Obama was a great orator. He was. I don't necessarily believe everything he did was good, but I don't vote in the US. And that's fine. I'm allowed to think that. But then you have other people who are in Parliament, in our systems, leading us, who say nothing. Nothing. There's no value. You could say waste of breath. You could just, do a cutaway to cats playing with a laser pointer. Yeah? It would have as much value at the end. Actually, no, the cats would be better. And that's what really annoys me. It really does. And I watching so much news and interviews, it's annoying to see people starting an argument. This is usually the interviewer holding either modified or adjusted facts. Let's call them the second group of facts that aren't real. They'll take some quote from something and cherry pick an argument, and they'll throw that at the person just to get a reaction. But usually it depends on whose side they are and what news station they work for. There can be a follow-up question. There may not be. There may be one to stick to the question, or let them free ball and see how they go, right? How they're going to survive. And it's such a shame that we've gotten to this point. The shame of the Kennedy family having to see RFK jump ships because he's realized what this is his words, the American Democrat Party is no longer, supporting democracy. They want to start deleting your rights. And that's why he said he's left. Mickey, there's paid influencers now, apparently. And they've even recycled. I love this. 1 minute. They've recycled Russian interference again. The Democrats are saying there's now Russian interference in the elections. Yeah, good. Really? Who got paid for it? I know that you can get paid by the Democratic Party according to an influencer who said that they didn't sign the NDA and weren't going to boost Kamala Harris's position in the race, but they were offered money to do it. And that person said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to reveal what just happened. Yeah, you don't want to get them upset, I don't think. You know, slippery floors and open windows, or however it's done. What's it? The umbrella tip. You don't want whatever they do. Don't want it.
Gives you cancer.
Yeah, they can do
as
that
well with the umbrella tip. You know the single biggest endorsement in the last few days for Donald Trump?
What was that?
Single biggest endorsement that I saw for him to vote for him is because Dick Cheney has now said he's going to vote. Now Dick Cheney is Republican, as you all know, right? Dick Cheney is going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Yes.
So why is that an endorsement? Well, Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, Bush Jr., Wolfowitz, the whole gang, even Rice and Powell.
Condoleezza Rice, that's right.
In the first administration, were the most corrupt and arguably most criminal administration I've seen in any country ever.
In your opinion?
No, in reality.
Be careful. I don't want the show deleted.
Oh, well, if I say it, it's an opinion, but I happen to be well informed, and it's a fact. So they are the worst and most corrupt administration that has ever been anywhere, right? And if Dick Cheney says, I'm going to vote Condoleezza Rice, I'm going to vote Kamala Harris, I'm going to go, oh, really? Is that what, really?
How much money's changed hands to do that? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think it's a money thing, to be honest with you. So if this is true, right? And Dick Cheney is who I think he is, and I know what happened, with the administration, that he was part of, then it is clear to me that it would be a continuation of that trajectory under her, where with Trump it might not be. It's I mean, when I saw this, because you can't get more Republican than Dick Cheney. It's almost impossible. He's like the poster child for Republicans. No, he is, right? And
it gives me a shiver up my spine.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, wow. I mean, and I heard a few, obviously, Republicans being, feeling disenfranchised or saying, look, it's not really the party that's set up for. And fair enough, it isn't. I don't think the Republican Party before Trump there's any resemblance to the Republican Party under Trump. I think those are two different animals. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just different. And I think that's anybody can see that. Now, if that's not what you sign up for, fair enough. Then you do something else. That's okay. That's cool. But that he would jump ship and go straight out Kamala Harris. I found that surprising. When I saw the headline, I thought, oh wow, there's a guy I would never trust with anything ever. And he's not coming along and saying, yeah, no, I'm going to vote for her. Because Trump is not the guy. Oh, wow, okay. It's a really funny situation, Dave. I didn't see that one coming. And I think she's got a good chance now. I think she's always had a good chance, but I honestly think she's going to take the election. Okay, that's my opinion. I'm calling it now. September 8th. She's going to take it.
Well, I think we'll have to see what happens at the debate. That's all.
I don't think it matters.
Well,
at this point.
Yeah, I think we've been sucked into wanting to watch the next one.
Oh, I want to see it. Absolutely, I want to see it. I just don't think it has any bearing on the election at all. She can't be as bad as Biden.
That's true.
All right, I think that's a given, and none of that rhetoric about old Biden and he's senile and whatever. None of that is going to obviously work anymore. So they're focusing on her not being. The stupidest thing Trump could have ever said. Is she really black? What kind of black is she? Shut up. You're a pale ginger. Just don't go there. Just don't say it.
With a comb over.
Ultimately, I don't care, but don't.
Biblical proportions.
Oh, brother.
It's comb over. So, you're right. You're right. I'm looking at the debate as being with a swing state switches, whichever way it's going to go. It'll go one way or the other, depending on the debate. I heard that the microphones have now been decided to be turned off while the other person's talking.
Yes. Right.
that actually saves Trump. That's a bonus to Trump because for two reasons. For two reasons. The first one is he does love to get his argument in while the argument is hot. He does like to his response or his retort to be active and not wait till the end where it's lost its heat. He does like that. But the other one is Kamala Harris in the first debate said, "Are you talking over me?" And all the person did was breathe while she was talking. She goes, "I'm talking here. I'm talking." Wow. And that's kind of what lost her respect. Now, if the mics were hot the whole time, then she'd have an opportunity to do that, I would suspect. But the conditions are there's no audience. It's not even an audience. Yeah? And they are in the same room, which is great, but with the mics off unless they're speaking. So I just wonder how it's going to go. She has the "I know your type," the convicted felon, even though he still has an appeal to go. But if she can't stick to... If she does the hyena thing, it's not going to go well. If she says nothing, it's not going to go well. I think she has to really pull something out. I have heard her speak at some of her conferences, through the video, because I'm in Australia. I'm actually from the Denver airport basement, and she is good, but it worries me that it won't work. That whatever she does won't work. I think you're not gonna sway any of the Make America Great Again people, any Trump supporters. It's only the swing states or the swinging voter who's going to be, conditioned by whatever the outcome is of that. And of course, you've got warehouses full of votes ready to push through machines. Yeah, I say that with tongue in cheek because that I can only look in amazement that in this day and age, Mickey, like we've spoken about before, it's so easy to have a digital identity and vote online. Just vote. I mean, where are we with technology and machines to, you know what I mean? How far back in time do you have to go to the invention of those to that's where we are? Oh, it's just too trustworthy, Is it? If you can run anything through them, does it matter? Then it's kind of fails, doesn't it? The digital ID is the way to fix the digital voting system. So you can do it online. You can only vote once. You put all your details in. There you go. It's ready to vote. Anyone else tries to vote as you, or you try to vote again, it won't let you. It just simply stops you. And I imagine the little button on the bottom. I can't vote, and it tells me that I've voted already. What's the problem? You push it and you get an AI, Mackie, an AI that says, are you requesting help with trying to vote? And you go, yes. Well, it appears as though you voted, and it closes itself. Or you chase the button around the screen, like in The Simpsons.
Oh, that's funny.
I had to get to that.
Push. Push. Again.
So, hey, look, it does my head in. That's all I'm going to say. For those of you who have been watching the online video, I did a 1-second thing that you can go back and pause on. I'm not going to talk about it at all. Not even in the slightest. So, having not spoken about it, I feel better about myself. Not. I would love to be able to do a live stream with you, Mackie, straight to Rumble, where we can possibly talk about it, but we'll have to see what
that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, because it's the thing,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
But all of these distractions, Dave, all these things that are going on, it's I don't know. I know we can't talk about certain things, use certain language, and I get that, but it's hard not to, right? It's hard not to expand on or even have expletives, because it is a highly emotionally charged subject, and people are. I mean, this is existential, and the election. While many people think, who cares? It actually matters on some level. On some level, it matters, and how quickly plans will be put into place, if there will be a resistance to plan, etc., etc. Again, is this the real world we're all in?
I'm not even sure anymore.
Well, I'm sure that's not at all. This is just some kind of.
I was being kind.
No,
I was being kind to the real worlders out there.
No, I'm sorry, this is not it.
No.
Too many things. There's too much. There's too much evidence, and I mean evidence, not just some crazy folk talking about crazy things. I'm talking about actually substantial things that point. And this is what we talked about over the last 14, 15 years here on the show. So just listen to all the episodes and you get the gist. But there's too much evidence for this not being real. Having said that, I think it's real enough to matter. It can affect who you are, like your essence, if you will. Call the soul. I mean, you can call whatever you like. But your essence matters, and how it reacts to things and what you do. All of these things matter. Okay, it does matter.
Yeah.
And it matters what you do here and how you do it. So, but we still have to get out of here, right? But we just lulled into oblivion, really. I mean, at some point, it's all going to shut down, and we're going to shut down with it. This world will be a park with maybe 100 million, maybe 500 million people all living in highly concentrated silos, maybe, with the parasites frolicking through the pastures, unencumbered by the teeming masses in the silos, only let out to do the necessary work, as it were, for the parasites. So that's the future we can look forward to. And I have a feeling it was in the past there was something like that as well. Not always. I don't think every civilization that preceded this one. There are many civilizations that preceded ours, and if you can't see that, then I can't really help you. And they all came to an end, as will this one.
Yeah.
But how it will come to an end, and what we do in the meantime, those are the questions, right? Everything matters. Everything you do or say or think matters, I think. You matter. All of you matter individually and collectively. You all matter. And we have forgotten that. And you know why we've forgotten it? Because they've taken our ability away to hear each other. The biggest divisive force in the world is not religion. It's not geography. It's not politics or socioeconomic standing. It's language. The single biggest divider is language. If we all spoke and ideally thought the same language, the division amongst us would be much, much, much less. And functional telepathy, which would allow you to experience someone else's emotional states, like stress. I guarantee you, I will say this, and I've got a couple of moments here. I guarantee you, if you could establish a telepathic link to a cow or a pig as it's being slaughtered for your lunch, you will become a vegetarian.
Yeah.
100%. If you were exposed to the thoughts of a child that is dying from hunger or thirst or some easily curable disease, its last thoughts, right? I guarantee you would not rest until this wouldn't happen again. But they took that away from us. This is beyond empathy. This is living the other person's life. This is feeling the other person's emotion. That's what we had. I deeply believe. And functional telepathy is not thinking words at each other. It is a wholesale exchange of ideas and symbols and thoughts and feelings and experiences. right? Almost like a download to some extent, I guess, right, of the other person's state of being, right? So there's no arguments because there's no point for. I mean, here's what I feel, think, and once you fully understand someone, then you go, okay, I get what you're saying. So there's no point in argument. You might not necessarily agree with them, but you understand them 100%. You know exactly how they got to where they are. Right? And that, in my mind, is what the parasites took away from us. Never mind the kill switch that we have built into us.
Mm-hmm.
This single thing, taking functional telepathy away from us. And it works, Dave. Dave and I have shown you the studies. Not asking whether or not it exists, but how it works. Right? Oh, no, telepathy is real, but you just can't figure out how it works.
That's right.
It's a thing. Okay? And the governments, US and USSR, then later Russia, they've poured millions, tens of millions, and hundreds of millions in some cases into these experiments, remote views, etc., etc. It is a thing, but it was taken away.
Mm-hmm.
And now look at us. We're completely alone. Each and every one of us is completely alone. No wonder we're such easy targets, such easy prey. You know when we're happiest? When we're in a crowd. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people are happy when they don't have to, this crowd mentality. It is a perversion of our natural instinct to want to be part of something bigger. It's a perversion of it, right? We do seek to be part of something that is greater than ourselves. But in the current state we're in, the physical state we're in, it's not possible. I mean, anything that would happen is just a perversion of that original, beautiful, blissful state, I think. Wow, that's a lot to take in a couple of minutes, right?
I think there's a message in that for all of us. I'm just gonna say, Mickey, but we don't pay any attention to any of that. And do you know why? Because we all carry around a personal distraction device.
Well, that's that. Yeah.
It gives us the impression that we're being social. Even the very platforms that we use, social media it's called. Is there anything really social about it? What? We sit alone, take a photo of our meal and post it and hope to get a like. We say where we've been or what we're doing. To who? How many people in your friends list, if you're an active user of, say, let's just say Facebook, for instance, or any other social media platform, Insta, I don't care where it is, then what is it that you're hoping to achieve? And how many of those people that you have as friends you actually know? How many do you know in real life, IRL? Because I don't know, it's not going to be many. That's a very good question to ask yourself. I'm also going to say, Mackie, on the election thing, Trump isn't for war. He doesn't want war. And military-industrial complex loves war because they profit. So I wonder how this is going to turn this election coming up, and it's crazy. It really is. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for action, and all the action seems to be paused again for some reason. And when I mean action, I mean international conflict. There's very, very little active conflicts again. Yeah, there's Israel and Gaza. What happened to Iran and Israel? What happened to that? Wet sock. I'm not daring them to do something, and I'm not pro-war, but if you're going to do it, do it. The more you wait, the more your enemy prepares. Anyway, that's the end of the first hour. Wow, it always goes quick. In the second hour, we're going to be talking about Megalithic Builders Part 9. Part 9 in a series. And if you're hearing this and you don't know what the other ones are, you just look at them. Alright, we'll catch you in a brief moment.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.